do this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Clicks to Riches show. I'm your host, Martin, and tonight we're wrapping up Design Month here on the show with a bang. That's right, we've spent the entire month of February diving into the world of design, helping you transform those creative sparks into profitable ventures. And tonight, we're showcasing 3 powerhouse design tools that every print-on-demand seller should consider as part of their arsenal of POD success. Kittl, Creative Fabrica, and Mystic POD. But before we get into that, let me introduce someone who can't help but showcase her own flair whenever a camera is pointed in her direction. She's the yin to my yang, the peanut butter to my jelly. Please welcome the fabulous Leah.
Well, that was quite the intro. Hello, thank you. And I have to say now, you are the mayonnaise to my egg salad sandwich.
Thank you. I will take that in the spirit in which it was intended. And I'm super excited for this show because I love talking about design.
Oh, we're gonna have so many great tips for you guys.
That's right, because tonight we're not just talking about these tools, we also have special guests that represent each one. They'll share their insider tips, tricks, and maybe even a few trade secrets to help you elevate your POD game. And it's not about crowning a champion amongst our guests as to who's the best. Each tool is unique in how they support a POD entrepreneur's journey. Our goal is to highlight each one so you can choose the one that's right for you. And get ready to join the conversation. We'll be taking your questions, so don't be shy. This is your chance to interact directly with the experts. All that, and we've got the latest breaking news in the world of print-on-demand, updates from Printify, some fantastic prizes, and of course, a whole lot of fun.
So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's design some magic.
This is the Clicks to Riches show, where your creativity meets profitability. Let's kick it off. All right, Leah, so again, I'm super excited about this. I love talking about design. The conversations have been going on all week in my live Q&A sessions, but this is all about our audience. So let's give some shout outs to our folks that have tuned in.
Yes, we already have so many people in the chat, and I've already seen we have at least 3 first-timers here. So welcome. We have, let's see, where they go. We have Lisa from Maryland, hello. We have a first-timer also from North Carolina, Crested Roots, hello. And Infinity also from the Bronx, New York City.
Ooh, the Bronx.
Say hello to our first-timers here, yeah.
Excellent, all right. And thank you all for joining us. Special shout out to Peter Heckman out there who's watching. Congratulations on your Eagles winning the big game. And thanks to all of you for joining us today. You are in for a special ride. And folks, if you're new to the show, like you first-timers, just know that we like to give away prizes on the Clicks to Riches show. So if you stay tuned in to the end, we're going to pop in a link to our post-show survey. 3 of you that fill out the survey will be randomly selected to win our prize package, which is a super awesome Clicks to Riches t-shirt, not unlike the one that the lovely Leah is wearing, and also $50 of Printify sales credit placed directly into your account. And if that wasn't enough, people, we're going to stop the show at 3 points and give away a coupon code, and the 3 of you that type it in the fastest into your Printify account will win an instant $15 into your account. And you could win like 3 times in a row. So you could win up to $45 just on typing alone today. So what better time than right now?
I think we got to start off hot right away.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and give away our first coupon code. So what I'm going to ask you to do is take out your Printify accounts, navigate on the left-hand side where it says Wallet, click on where it says Reward Center, and then find the coupon entry area and prepare to enter today's first coupon code. And again, 3 people will win, and if you'll either get that $15 placed directly into your account, or you'll see a notice that says this coupon does not exist because we only created 3 of them. Better luck next time, but if you do win, let us know in the chat so we can all celebrate. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, today's first coupon code is D is for design, spelled just like this, all one word. Go ahead and type that in. And again, if you do win, let us know. And don't worry, if you didn't, you'll have a couple more chances in today's show to win again, okay? But onwards and upwards, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the latest breaking news in the world of print on demand, and we're going to be throwing a lot of information at you, some links and things like that, not only in the chat, but all of the information, all the informational links that we shared today will be added to the video description, so you're not going to miss anything, but click on those to learn more about our subjects today. Starting off is TikTok Shop expanding into Mexico. And now I love what this says because this is TikTok's foray into Latin America. And I think you're going to see some more expansion, specifically into Brazil, because these are 2 of TikTok's biggest markets. But I just love what this says.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. Like, we're still very kind of young in this game. We are on the ground floor. If you're not using TikTok yet, start familiarizing yourself with it and get your business in there.
Right, because as TikTok expands into these TikTok Shop expands into these other markets, the opportunities are going to come along with it. Also, Best Buy has announced they're launching a third-party marketplace. Now, I think this is, I love what this says too. This is showing that those big box retailers are looking for other opportunities, and as those opportunities expand, those are going to be expansion of opportunities for you as well. Now, they haven't come out and said that they're going to be offering this. They're going to be opening it up to print-on-demand sellers, but I think this is a good sign, and I think this is there's going to be more to come.
Mm-hmm. And you know, Best Buy is actually, it's very popular in the US. They're already a very trustworthy name and brand. So people will go to shop there, but they're smaller than Amazon. So for smaller businesses, you might have better chances on a smaller marketplace that's still credible, where Amazon might be a little bit trickier.
Exactly. And whenever you can get in on the ground floor on this kind of stuff, yeah, I think it's a wonderful opportunity. And let's pop this one into the chat because Shopify just released a really interesting article about how to start a business using AI. And what I think this signifies is it's sort of a tipping point, because there's going to be a time when nobody used AI just 5 minutes ago, and now that it's going to be, businesses are going to have to use AI in order to at least streamline your workflow, because I don't think it's ever going to replace your day-to-day workflow, but what it's going to be able to do is get you from A to Z a lot quicker. Okay, so and provide a better result therein. So if you're not already incorporating some of these tools or learning about them, I think now's the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if anything, just use it as a partner or use it to really enhance your skill set or maybe gaps of knowledge. If you don't know social media, for example, you can ask AI to come up with a calendar for you, or use it to fill those gaps.
Exactly. And let's pop in a link to one of our previous episodes of the Clicks to Riches show, where we did a deep dive into how you can use ChatGPT as a print-on-demand seller to streamline and increase your productivity. Okay? All right, moving right along. I wanted to include this just as a harbinger of the health of our industry. This is from globalnewswire.com, and they released a market evaluation of the custom t-shirt industry. And I just wanted to include this just to sort of reinforce the fact that this is not going anywhere, and it's only going to be projected for growth. And I get this question a lot about, is the market saturated? Is there, because the t-shirts are the most widely sold product in print on demand. And well, I mean, saturated, I don't think that's the word I would use. I would say that there's a massive pie, and you have an opportunity to carve out yourself a slice.
We keep seeing these articles and these research coming up every single show, every week. It's still growing. Again, we are just starting out. We are a baby industry.
All right, and you folks, again, you can pretty much consider yourself in on the ground floor, even at this stage, considering where it's projected to go in the future. Well, let's switch gears just a little bit and talk about some trending products, because what I've done here is I've taken a look at our Printify data, and I've taken out the tried and true bestsellers, your t-shirts, your hoodies, mugs and things like that, and I'm looking for the outliers and stuff that's climbing up the sales ladder. That's what I presented to you here. We've got car magnets, journals, and bumper stickers that we featured last week. So those are still selling very well. But I think the outlier here is those hand towels. Now, this is the first time they've appeared on our show in the trending products segment, and I don't know necessarily what to make of it, other than to say this is just goes along with the increased demand for home goods.
Let us know in the chat if you sell hand towels or you've been thinking about it. Kind of, what have you heard about it? What's working? My idea is I think personalized hand towels go really well, monogrammed.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, has anybody out there sold one hand towel? Because there's somebody out there selling it. I don't know. It's at least a product to think about, like Leah said, especially if you're thinking about if you offer personalization. Moving right along, here's what to keep an eye on in the print-on-demand world. And now, these are some upcoming holiday sales dates that I pulled from our 2025 e-commerce calendar. We're going to pop that link in as well. And along with the bigger dates like the International Women's Day and St. Patty's Day. There's a couple smaller ones that I wanted to include in here because these are great opportunities for you to capitalize on if your target niche or customer is particularly affected by these dates. Employee Appreciation Day, if that's something that you focus on. But National Panda Day, because I know a lot of you people out there like to sell those like cutesy poo designs and things like that. Well, here's an excellent opportunity to include in your value proposition or your marketing efforts to have an excuse to reach out and engage with your customers.
I also smell a trend coming here with pandas because if you follow along with the news, the Smithsonian National Zoo, I believe, just relaunched their public panda cam. So you can go watch, I think, Jing Bao and Bao Li. They got 2 new pandas.
Public panda cam. Wonderful.
So pandas are going to grow.
Exactly. Just in time for National Panda Day on the 16th. And of course, there's St. Patrick's Day when everybody's Irish and just green everywhere. So, but check out that e-commerce calendar to find out which one of these sort of lesser known holidays are on the schedule, so you can take advantage of them. And I used to work with a merchant that did quite a fair amount of business by focusing on these little lesser known holidays, because somebody's out there looking for stuff for that.
Yeah, you can really kind of weave them into almost any niche. You know, if your niche is St. Patty's Day and pandas, a green panda.
A green panda, exactly, holding a beer mug or something like that. Okay, wonderful. Speaking of trends, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a shout out to our friends over at eRank. And what I've done is I've taken a look at the trending keywords that are currently trending on Etsy, and I've just taken a snapshot of that to present to you here. Now, no real surprise here with wall art, sweatshirt, and t-shirt. That's like a no-brainer. But the one outlier here is the word coach. Now, we've featured this before on our trend spotting segment a few months ago, and here it is as it pops up again. And I did a deeper dive on it, and I was just looking at the the peaks and valley of this of the popularity of the word coach on eRank, and it 1-to-1 coincides with the end of sporting seasons in the United States, meaning like at the end of track season or soccer season, or now at the end of basketball season as we transfer into spring sports and things like that. So this is so I think what we've done here is we've identified a cyclical opportunity for you to take advantage of that you can count on a regular basis and prepare for accordingly.
I think the high school sports seasons are a really underutilized opportunity. You can go to your local school, or if you know someone, or if your own kids play on a sports team and you can offer your design services or something, this can really boost your sales as well.
Exactly, and not to mention the jerseys and all that kind of stuff. It's a massive opportunity. So, ladies and gentlemen, I bet you're wondering, or at least asking yourself, what's new at Printify? And I'm glad you asked, because that's exactly what we have coming up for you right here. And right at the top of the list is we have recently revamped the way we offer auto-generated titles and descriptions through our AI. And what we've done is we've just made the whole thing better. We've sort of streamlined the process through like smart analysis. So when you create a new product, what our AI does is it looks at not only the design, but the product, and creates titles and tags and descriptions accordingly. And this is a way to optimize that content to make it more relevant for how these products are searched for, and to optimize your SEO, and it also tailors it specifically for your sales channel as well. So we've just improved the feature. Okay, and this is just optimized to increase your discovery and your conversion rates as well.
Mm-hmm. This is a really, really nice feature and tool for beginners, especially those of you who are just kind of learning the ins and outs of SEO. Now, you should of course still do your own research, but this tool works. I was actually playing around with this a while ago, and I used it, and I published something to Etsy, and I accidentally made a sale. I wasn't, trying to do something, but the titles worked. So
exactly,
give it a shot.
And this is just one other example of how AI is creeping into like literally every aspect of the online marketplace. Okay, on both sides. And then the Printify Choice Upgrade. Now, we're going to pop in a link to a Help Center article about this. This is some exciting stuff. We've been working really, really hard on this, and there's going to be more developments on this front as we progress through 2025. But just know that now we will automatically reroute your orders to save you time and money, deliver them a lot faster to your customer's shipping address. And this will only be when we can have an exact product and print area match. Now that's also very important to understand. So it is a seamless process. You won't even notice anything's going on, and it's gonna result in saving you time and money, because we're actually going to do this when we can actually save you money. Now, name any other service out there that actively puts out tools and features that actually will generate less money for us and save more money for you. So this is just an example of our commitment to your profitability, okay? Now, this is only for US addresses. Amazon and TikTok are not available, and only for standard and economy shipping. If you don't like it, don't worry, you can opt out. It's so we give you the freedom and flexibility to operate your business however you like.
We really do recommend Printify Choice as a fulfillment option for beginners. You know, you're still kind of learning the ins and outs of different print providers, different products, but Printify Choice can just make that easy for you. Or if you've already been selling and you don't really want to think about this anymore, you want to focus on marketing or whatever, Printify Choice, we've done the research, we've done the work, lowest prices, highest quality.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer, and again, it's all designed to save you time and get those orders to your customers faster, so that they can in turn be repeat customers. So there we go. And this is a great opportunity for me to do another round of shameless self-promotion, as I am known to do. Join me, folks, every Monday and Wednesday on the Sellers Club, for my live Q&A sessions, where we can talk about literally anything under the sun. This is a forum designed specifically for you. No topic is off limits. Come join me, and again, let me play a small part in your success and talk about the things that you want to talk about. Sign up today using code Launchpad2525 for your first month free, and get access to all sorts of cool stuff on the Sellers Club, like paid mentorships, and access to super awesome courses, and have a nice little awesome forum where you can connect with other like-minded POD sellers and all learn and grow together. But folks, we're here to talk about design, and design is what we will talk about. And before I hand it over to Leah, I just want to say, folks, now, you shouldn't feel intimidated about the design process when it comes to designing for your own products. In a way, that's kind of the most fun part of this process. Because with the tools that are out there and the tools that we're going to feature today, they are geared for the beginner. And in no time, you're going to be creating awesome designs that not only your customers will love, but that they will want to buy. So, Leah, I'm going to hand it over to you. So, what do our folks need to know about choosing the right design tool?
Yes. So before you kind of start designing it in, you really have to know the product, the tool that you want to design for. And they're kind of like 5 key things that you should think about when you're choosing a design platform. So the first thing you want to think about is efficiency. You want to be able to streamline your design process as much as possible, especially in such a fast-growing POD markets, trends always coming out. Okay, so for example, if you're creating 50 text-based designs and you want to put them into different niches, you change out one word, doing that 50 times manually is going to be kind of tedious. A bulk feature or bulk create tool might be something that you want to look into in the platform. Next thing, you want to look at quality. We always say the importance of quality, and it's no secret that high-quality designs enhance your product appeal. You're going to have happier customers equals higher sales, of course. So if you're creating wall art, for example, you want to make sure that in your platform you can create high resolution designs, export those with the proper files, and then put those onto your product. Next, you want to think about cost effectiveness, right? It's always important to save on cost and see how you can do that. So you can spend $50 on a freelance designer if you want for 1 or 2 designs, or you can use that money to pay for your own design platform, use their tools to easily create, tweak, manipulate the designs however you want, and experiment. And then next we want to think about scalability. As your business grows, can the design tool grow with you, right? Can it grow faster by creating designs to meet these market trends that are coming out left and right? And lastly, we want to think about competitiveness, okay? The latest design tools will help you create products that remain relevant in this market and let you do so in an efficient manner while standing out and staying competitive.
And it's supposed to be fun, right? I mean, it's super fun to stimulate that creative part of your brain that may or not be as active as you would like it to, and super rewarding to know that your designs are out there living their own lives out in the world. So thank you very much, Leah. But before we bring on our guests, I want to give away just a little bit more money. So, folks, I'm going to... Oh, go ahead.
We had a winner
from
the last time, so we have to give them a shout out. Kibiani won the first code I saw, so congratulations. Let's all give them a round of applause.
Congratulations, Kibiani. Wonderful. Well, you have another chance to win here, but 3 people who enter this next coupon code the fastest will win $15 of Printify sales credit placed directly into their account. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I will invite you to click on Wallet on the left-hand side of your Printify account. Go down to where it says Reward Center and then find the coupon code entry square and prepare to enter today's second coupon code. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, that coupon code is 3 Superstars, spelled just like this. And I'm referring to our guests, by the way, who we'll be bringing on very, very shortly. But just remember, you will not see bells and whistles and a big congratulations saying, congratulations, you won. You'll either get that $15 placed directly into your account, or you will see a notice that says this coupon code doesn't exist because we only made 3 of them and you just didn't type fast enough. But don't worry, you're gonna have a chance, one more chance to win here at the very end, and not to mention filling out our post-show survey at the very, very end to win our grand prize. So,
we got 2 winners already. Carmen Fusilo says, woo, got it, congratulations. And Mojave also got one. Congrats.
Congratulations to both of you. And again, you have one more chance to win, so don't go anywhere. And I don't know why you would, because I'd like to welcome our guests onto today's show. First of all, I would like to welcome Chris Heckman. Chris Heckman represents Mystic POD. It's a all AI tool designed specifically for POD sellers, and he's part of the Printify family. If you watched our our annual Amplified event that went live last September, you definitely will have seen them, and you can catch his video in the video section of our YouTube channel. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you guys, Martin and Leah. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. But that's not all, folks. We also have Linnea Holgerson, who's joining us from Creative Fabrica. She is from the product marketing team, and she is making her triumphant return to our channel. And you can watch her video on Creative Fabrica in the live section of our YouTube page. Linnea, how you doing today? Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for inviting me again, and I'm great. I'm really excited about the show, and yeah, like speaking about this, hearing you guys talk make me really excited about sharing all the cool stuff we have coming up.
Wonderful. Well, we're certainly excited about Creative Fabrica, and let's not let the love fest stop there, because Drew Wilson is joining us from Kittl, also making his triumphant return to our channel. I love you guys. You guys have had me on your show, Coffee with Kittl. I greatly appreciate that. Very glad you could join us today. How you doing? Are you feeling good?
Yeah, absolutely. As I was telling you guys earlier, there's snow on the ground here in Raleigh, North Carolina, so I'm happy about that. Happy to be talking about print on demand and, of course, design.
Wonderful. All right. Well, we're going to have a live Q&A session with our guests at the end here. So as those questions come up, no need to hang on to them until the very end of our interview session. Pop those into the chat right away. Our moderator Talish will collect those, and then we'll read them during the dedicated live Q&A session a little bit later. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to start things out with a little bit of an icebreaker question. So, and you folks out there can play along as well. Put your answer into the chat. Okay. So if you are ready, here is your question. I'm gonna ask you each to answer individually. So since we've been talking about AI today, I think it makes sense to have an AI-themed icebreaker question. Okay. So which groundbreaking film introduced cinema audiences to the first humanoid robot, marking the on-screen debut of AI? Okay. Now, was it A, Metropolis, B, 2001: A Space Odyssey, C, Star Wars, or D, The Day the Earth Stood Still? And I'll give you a moment to answer because I want our audience out there as well. So I'll read the options one last time. Is it A, Metropolis, B, 2001: A Space Odyssey, C, Star Wars, or D, the Day the Earth Stood Still? Put those into the chat. You can play along at home. But Drew, let's start with you. What's your answer?
I have zero clue. I'm just going to say Star Wars, which is probably incorrect, but
All
yeah,
right.
why
Well,
not?
it's a good answer nonetheless, and that's coming from a diehard Star Wars fan myself. Linnea, how about you?
I'm gonna say The Day the Earth Stood Still because that's the only one that I don't know. So it's probably that one.
Okay. Good guess. Chris, how about you?
I've never seen it, but Space Odyssey. I feel like that one would have it in it.
Never seen 2001. All right. Well, now I know what you need to do as soon as we're done here today. Okay. And so, what is our audience saying?
I think our audience is kind of just as clueless as our guests. Answers all over the place. I don't know the answer either.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. None of our guests got it correct. You guessed everything except the correct answer. The correct answer is A, Metropolis, which came out in 1927. Did any of our online folks get it correct?
A couple. Joe Heller said Metropolis. Random Toaster Bob said Metropolis. I think only a couple people really got it. This was a tough question.
Did you say Random Toaster Bob?
Random Toaster Bob, I think I saw was the name.
Okay,
Yes.
that's one of the more creative ones I've ever seen. Congratulations. All right, although you win nothing except our eternal respect, congratulations to those who said Metropolis. But let's move on with today's discussion. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask each one of you the same question, at least in this beginning portion. I'll give you a chance to answer, and then we'll kind of break off into individual question and answer time, okay? So this first one is for you, Linnea, and I'll give you all a chance to answer. So in a market flooded with design tools, what would you say is the secret sauce that sets your platform apart for POD entrepreneurs?
Well, apart from that, we of course have assets, over millions of assets that you can download within our subscription. We also have the expanding, what we've been speaking about, design tooling options within our studio suite. So we really have, that's also really what we want to focus a lot more going forward, but really binding that whole creative ecosystem from both finding designs, but also creating them yourself, creating unique designs, and all under one subscription. So what you said with all mentioned that finding a tool that suits your needs, how can you create niched products and really follow the full funnel through? This is what I really think sets us apart.
Okay, so with millions of options, how can people find what they're looking for?
Well, of course, there's as well as when you're selling, you need to be unique and find those niched, like you mentioned, the St. Patrick Day panda. So with all the options we have, there's a lot of opportunity for going into these very sub-niched opportunities and really play around with that. So utilizing the search to really look for unique stuff. If you cannot find it, you can just create it yourself with our AI tools and really find a funnel there for new sales opportunities. And apart from just creating this, the stuff that you print for your shop, you can also, especially as we have a lot of beginners here today, that you can utilize Creative Fabrica to set up your whole shop. So from creating store banners to your social media banners, everything you need to kickstart your shop. So that combined with the tooling and the full access really helps serve POD merchants from setup to success throughout the whole process.
Okay, wonderful. Then Drew, the same question for you. What's Kittl's secret sauce that sets it apart from others?
Yeah, I like what you all were saying earlier about finding a tool that is scalable for you. And so I like to talk about Kittl in so much as that it is a tool that grows with you. So it can be as simple as you want it to be or as complicated as you need it to be. We have done our best to put all of the tools that you might need into one platform. And another strong suit because of we were made by designers. We weren't made by just people that had an idea like let's make a design tool. We were actually made by graphic designers, letter artists, creatives. We have really only found, or we've really only used the tools that you would need that are integrated, things like background removers, quick replacing, quick auto resize artboards, things like that. So I would say I didn't want to just come on here and talk about templates because we have thousands and thousands and thousands of templates that you can obviously get started with like many other tools. But I think it's that scalability that will allow you to get started with ease if you are a beginner. But if you are a professional graphic designer or you're just a professional creative and you need things like a vectorizer tool or a background remover, an upscaler or AI, you can still use Kittl to do that for your POD business and things like that. So that's probably what I would say.
Okay, wonderful. Then Chris, I guess the same question to you. What makes Mystic POD so unique?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of like how Drew said that they're made like by designers for designers. A similar approach for print on demand with Mystic. Like I've been in the print on demand space for a long time at this point. You can see that it shows at this point, but I've been in print on demand for a long time, and so it's the tool built by print on demand sellers for print on demand sellers. And so, I mean, it's in the name, Mystic POD. So every tool that we make, every feature that we ship in the product, everything is designed for one sole purpose, and that is helping sellers go from idea or concept to not just the design, but a product that is live and taking sales on a platform.
Okay, well put, well put. Now, in terms of community and finding the resources to be successful, what sort of options are there available on your various platforms so that people can get up and running as quickly as possible? Because we got a lot of people out there that are in the beginning stages of their journey, or maybe they want to explore a new tool and they want to get up and running as quickly as possible. How does your particular platform assist them in that process? Let's start with you, Linnea.
Yeah, so definitely what I mentioned with from the whole like getting started till getting inspiration, getting educational help to where to start, what to begin with, how to find inspiration for creativity. We offer that whole creative funnel, as well as our tooling within Studio. We also have so many opportunities there to just build out your print-on-demand store and get started. So there is the option to create within the canvas, to create your own visual assets. But also, for example, if you have low-quality designs, we also have the vectorizer, which can help you scale and create better quality vectors, turn PNGs to SVGs. Also, our latest tool, the font generator, which I will speak about a little bit more later. I will show that one, but we're really excited about that one. That's our newest tool, the first tool to create actual installable and downloadable fonts with using generative AI. So there's a lot of tooling there to really explore and get started, all with these educational materials to help you where to begin, what to look for.
Okay, well, let's put a pin in that font generator because I definitely want to get back to that. That's something I'm actually pretty excited about. But the same question to you, Chris. How do people get started? What sort of resources do you have available on Mystic POD so that people can get up and running?
Yeah, so we have on my YouTube channel, actually, we have a 31+ hour free course just about pretty much everything. So if you're able to handle a monotone voice for 30+ hours, then it could be a good place to get started. But aside from those like free training materials, we have a ton of templates and case studies available on Mystic site where we show like design style by design style. Here's an example of like vintage designs. Here are prompts to get started and remix options and like basically a workflow that you can use. And people are able to just go through those and get the lay of the land and then jump into Mystic as well as they're going through the free training.
Wow, a 31-hour course. I feel like if I go through a 31-hour course, I deserve like a framed diploma that I can put up on my wall. Have you considered something like that, Chris?
I felt the same way. I feel like I'd need a diploma first.
Right on. Well, thank you very much. Well, let's kind of look at each one of you individually and do a deeper dive on each one of your products. Let's go ahead and start with Drew over there at Kittl. So Kittl's known for its user-friendly interface. We covered a little bit about that at the top, and it makes it accessible to those who are new to design. So can you elaborate on the specific features that simplify the design process for beginners?
Yeah, do you mind if I actually answered the resources question real quick?
Did I skip you on that?
Yeah, no worries. But I
Okay.
think it's important, so I'd like to mention it. So we have three main places, I think, for resources. One would be just our actual community. We use Discord, and we have lots of different channels where people can go. One's for POD, one for Etsy, one for Shopify. Like we have all these different kind of things built out. And I think we have about 60 to 80 of our like top tier template creators in there, and they get in there and they answer questions. So if users are having questions about how to edit templates or get feedback, they can go there. The second place would be our blog. We have lots of really amazing down to theory on design up to just specific print-on-demand help on our blog. And then that's also somewhat mirrored on our YouTube channel where we have over 830 videos, I think, of me and my brother Graham and Eduarda just teaching you how to make different designs. So I would say those three places, the Discord, blog, and the YouTube channel. But yes, back to your question. Were you asking me for specific features inside Kittl?
Yeah, now that we're back on track, thank you very much, Drew. Sorry I left you off there. But yeah, when it comes to familiarizing yourself with any tool, I think it's just important to just get on there and start playing around. And explore the features, and eventually you'll start understanding it. I guarantee you, each one of these tools is geared to be understandable from the very beginning and very intuitive. But yes, I was curious about the specific features that simplify the design process for beginners. Like once I'm on the platform, what tools can I operate that are intuitive, as I mentioned?
Sure, absolutely. So we can obviously start with templates. So we have templates categorized by many different things up at, a top level search, something like as big as branding or marketing or social. And then you can filter those down into your exact needs. So maybe you need a subset of branding for like mood boarding, or maybe you need a flyer, or if it's in social, maybe you need Instagram stories specifically, or if we're talking about POD, maybe you need some nice product shots for your mock-ups. We have a mock-up feature as well that works seamlessly with the templates that you can go in, you can mock up different designs on different products. Another thing I would say is kind of one of our newer niche tools inside the editor is, let's say that you have found one of these templates. This is where I find a lot of people get stuck, is they don't want to destroy the template because it looks really awesome, but it's not like what they need. It's not their niche that they're selling in POD, or it's not the right colors or whatever. So what we've developed that I think is really helpful is, let's say you have this template in here. You can go ahead and change your text really easily, but we have what's called the quick replace feature. And so using our elements panel, or maybe you generated something with AI, which is another really easy user-friendly tool to use. When you have found an asset or an illustration from our elements panel, there's this little button that says replace. So if you have this design, this template that already has a nice graphic in the center, or maybe on top or the bottom, if you have that element selected, you can just quick replace, and it will perfectly align to the correct colors. It'll perfectly align to the correct size. It's not like adding a bunch of elements all over the place and then you have to move it and you have to resize it. It saves like so much time. I use it all of the time. Now, I like to be messy and just put elements all over the place. But if I have a vision in mind, I want to use that quick replace feature really fast. Now, I mentioned color a second ago. We also have a smart color palettes feature. So let's say you're just not vibing with that design the way that it looks. Maybe you want to duplicate it a couple of times. You can use our quick color palette tool and just go through all of our smart generated color palettes and see it in a bunch of different hues, different shades, different things like that. And then, you can mock them up, change the colors of the mock-ups, whether it's like a hat or a shirt or anything like that. So those are a couple of the high-level features that I think are super easy to use, that won't really take you any time to understand, because it's basically the click of a button. And then, of course, we have AI. We're integrated with DALL-E and Flux, which are both extremely powerful. We have a AI sets generator, so if you want to give it you can actually do 6 prompts at one time and generate a set that is consistently the same thing. So it's basically telling our AI, use this style and give me 6 things, icons, people, whatever, in the same style. All this stuff is really user friendly. So those are a few things that I would say.
Okay, now when you were describing like the quick replace and the
Yep.
color palette synthesizer, I'm just thinking of the way I design, and I'm just like
Sure.
those are two things that like are big time consumers, at least the way I design. So if you can just like press a button and be done with it, yeah, I can just imagine how much more streamlined my workflow could be. So yeah, thank you very much for that. Now you mentioned something about AI. Now. But what I'm very interested in is one of the features that you have that makes you guys like super unique, and it's infinite canvas. Can you explain to our audience exactly what that is and who it's for?
Sure, absolutely. So very similar to what you might think of when you think of a mainstream design editing tool, or maybe something like a Figma or something like, yeah, again, Illustrator. Infinite Canvas essentially allows you to have an endless sandbox. It's like play mode essentially, where you have your one core artboard. Maybe you started a project in Kittl by clicking on a template, or maybe you just were in your profile and you just hit start project and you just opened up a blank artboard. Well, because we have an endless canvas, you could duplicate the artboard as many times. You could add as many templates as you want. You could add as many elements as you want. You can drag things off of the artboard and experiment with it. Maybe you want to like not destroy the template, but you want to like kind of see what it would look like with different fonts. Well, then now you can just duplicate it or drag it off, copy it 100 times, I guess, if you want, and then try it in a bunch of different fonts, try it in a bunch of different colors, try it in a bunch of different design sizes. You can easily size all of those to be however you want. And then, like I was mentioning, you could pair that with something like the replace feature. So if you're, going to do a St. Patrick's Day full set of designs, you can duplicate the same template like 10 times, and maybe you just want to change the text a little bit, and then the character that's in the middle, boom, replace, replace, replace. Now you have 10 designs really fast. So that's what Infinite Canvas allows you to do. You can drag things off. You can make 100 artboards, 200, whatever you want, all in the same project. You don't have to like keep making new projects.
Wonderful. And I think that aligns very well and supports what Leah was talking about earlier about scalability. Because once you reach a certain level, you're going to need designs. You're going to need designs on a larger scale. So this would definitely be a tool for that. Okay. Wonderful. Now I have one last question for you before I move on to Linnea and Creative Fabrica. But Drew, you guys are famous for your templates. You mentioned it a couple times in your answer there. That's like what I love most about Kittl is because I am in no way a graphic designer, and that sort of like allows me to like come up with some pretty cool designs by taking a template and sort of making it my own, adjusting the colors, taking elements from one to the other. But these are still templates. So what advice do you have for our merchants out there that like a template but want to make it their own and differentiate it from someone else out there that might still be using that same template for their products?
100%. I get this question every day. So that's a very good question. So there's three things that I'll kind of latch on to here. So if you are kind of worried about destroying the template, or maybe you're worried about, like you said, kind of either like a copyright or licensing or just copying someone else, and you don't necessarily want to combine it with other templates, which is the second thing I'll talk about. But with the first thing, I always try to say your three main things to change in a template are going to be whatever the core graphic is, the element, right, the theme or the niche of it, the text, and the color. So text, color, theme, or text, color, graphic, whatever you want. I mean, a template is a thing, like, we want you to use the template because we set it up that way because it looks nice. Or we have designers all over the world that are template creators that created it so that you can succeed. So we're not necessarily saying like, don't use the template. Like, we want you to use it, but you can easily change that graphic, obviously change your text. Don't just copy the text verbatim because it's probably fake. It's probably like not a real thing that the text already in the template is. So you want to make it your own, and then use the color palette tool, select an element, use different colors, something like that. So text, color, graphic, that's usually a really good, safe, easy place to start. The second way that I would say to not be so afraid of this is we have a lot of collaborators and creators that like to open up like 5 or 6 templates at the same time, or you don't have to, you can actually open them up in separate tabs and then copy and paste between them if you want. It's easier to just add all the templates to one artboard, or one project, like I was saying, Infinite Canvas. You can just add them all to the same project. And then what they'll do is they'll start breaking apart like 5 or 6 different templates of different styles because they like different elements from them. So maybe they like the fonts from this one, maybe they really like the grungy texture from this one, maybe they really like the colors of this one, and then before you know it, they've kind of hodgepodge together something that is very much unique by using the elements in the different templates. And then the third thing I'll say, just so I can highlight a new feature, or it's not really a feature, a new piece of content we have on Kittl are what are called design bundles. And what these are a full suite of everything you would need to match a style. So for example, let's say we have a pack called the Adventurer Pack. You open up that project and immediately you have a slide that has 10 fonts that work perfectly with each other and with the adventure theme. Then the next slide you have 40 illustrations that are all the same. They're part of the same pack. They work perfectly with those fonts and so on and so forth. So we have these different design bundles, these design packs that can help you stay consistent with your design theme. And we have these on, we have vintage ones, we have minimal ones, modern ones, and there's even templates embedded inside of those design packs. So that'd be probably a third place I would send somebody to get more comfortable and to help kind of stay consistent with their template creation is those design bundles.
Wonderful. Go ahead.
I really love that idea of mix and matching these templates. Of course, you want to make them unique with your own colors. And that's one thing that I think a lot of beginners need to remember with templates, that all the other beginner designers have access to these templates as well. So the less changes that you're making, the more high those chances are that someone else will have a very similar design. So use that kind of mix and match idea, use your brand colors.
Exactly. Like my favorite thing about those templates is that I can kind of Frankenstein them into my own little creation, and I don't necessarily have to tell the people that I'm showing it to that I didn't create it from scratch. So there we go. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Drew. I'm going to go ahead and move along to Creative Fabrica and our friend Linnea. And this is a great opportunity for me to remind you folks out there watching that we will have a Q&A portion a little bit later. So no need to hold on to those questions until the end. As they come to you during our discussion here, pop those into the chat and our moderator, Talish, will collect those and we'll be glad to address those during the session, okay? But Linnea, come, if you wouldn't mind, step up to the microphone. And let's talk about Creative Fabrica and your comprehensive asset library, okay? So you mentioned it earlier that you have like millions and millions of designs. So again, sort of the same question to you about the templates. How do merchants out there use these designs and make them their own? So in order to differentiate themselves from the competition.
Yeah. So what we've been speaking a lot about now in the session is all about being unique, right? I think that's something that everybody that is doing really well in POD knows, that this is like, you have to be unique to create good selling product and a sustainable business. And we really are like on a mission to help enable tooling for enabling everyone to be able to create unique products. So not just like that you can, of course, use the assets that are available, but also to make them your own, like changing things, tweaking them, to also go into these specific seasonal holidays that you want to target, or niches, or something you see doing well, to tweak it fully. And that's like really what we've been building from the start, but also if we look ahead, to enable more people to be able to do that within the platform, and that's with our AI tools to really help people create unique products.
Again, everybody's favorite buzzword, AI. I think that will be the last time we hear it in our discussion today. But we touched on it a little bit earlier, this new tool that you guys have, the font generator. I want to hear all about that because like text-based designs are like super popular, especially if you're going for like a minimalist look or if you're just adding the text to your already created graphic. So I think this is very unique in this space. So I'd love to hear what this is all about. So please tell our audience, font generator. What do we need to know?
Yeah, we're super excited about this one. It just went live this month. The font generator is the first tool that uses generative AI to create like actual unique, installable and downloadable fonts. So not just text-based images, but actual fonts. And the tool itself, it allows for tool customization. So how it works is that you can choose a style you want, and it generates the font for you. And if you, for example, don't like what the A looks like or want to have a different style on the Z, you can change that within the glyph itself, like generate multiple different versions and choose that I want this specific Z. And then rename the font for a unique name, and then download it as a TTF and upload it to any software where you can upload fonts, or directly import it into our AI Canvas studio and design from there. And the fonts you create are completely unique, as I mentioned, unique a lot, but so it's yours, it doesn't exist anywhere else. And it comes with a commercial license, so you can use it for your text-based designs to really create unique print-on-demand products. And what I want to say is this tool recently launched, it's very early stage. We really want to focus on building a tool that's with our own model. And there's a long roadmap for improvements with this tool. Our strategy with our tools is really to create these with input from our community. So not design something that we think they want this and put it out there and don't change it, but we put it out early, gather input and feedback from the community, and then evolve it and base it from there. So we really invite you guys to go test it out and let us know what is it that you're missing, would like to see more of. For example, some of the stuff that will coming up soon, very, very soon, is more styles, so more font styles, and even prompt-based generation. So go test it out. It's for free to use. So we're very excited about this one, and it's in our if you look ahead at this year and upcoming period, this is one of the tools that we really want to have to help enable everyone to create more unique products.
Wonderful. Yeah. And I think unique is really the word here. And this is one thing that I think really sets you guys apart, gives you guys unique value in the marketplace. Because when it comes to creating text-based designs, imagine the power you can have if you can set yourself apart from your competition with with your own unique font. Even though you may have the same message, you can really set yourself apart and provide some really unique value. There's that word unique again.
Mm-hmm. This font generator, I haven't used it yet, but it looks really cool. I'm gonna have to play around with it. But it seems like a really great way to just learn about text-based designs in general. I mean, what better way to learn the basics than just building and creating your own font?
Sure, and I think it has a place in personalization as well. Mm-hmm. So wonderful stuff. Now, Linnea, I have one more question for you. Recently, there have been some concerns over POD merchants being affected by copyright claims after using your designs. So what are your copyright policies, and what should merchants think about when it comes to selling commercially?
Yeah, indeed, there was an issue. So as I mentioned, we have millions of assets on the platform. And there was a case where a designer had copied a design. So what we did there was take swift action. We removed the design from the platform. We took action against the designer, and we also set up a stricter policy for uploading designs to the platform. What we also really see here is what you mentioned, what can I do to work on this more? So we launched a licensing hub, which is called the Commercial Use Guide. And like I mentioned, I think it will be shared in the description and chat. To really help our users to educate themselves on how this actually works. So how does licensing work? How does IP work? How does platform policies work? How should I evaluate that? Or how should I evaluate the asset before selling it commercially, or in IP infringements? And this guide is really to help, especially if you're a beginner, to help you understand, from the get-go, what is it, how does everything here work, and what do I need to know before I get started?
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to end up with saying, at the same time for us, this is where we also really see a reason for focusing on creating a lot of tooling that allows you to create your own designs powered by AI. Because we do see a lot of opportunities for everyone to be able to create their own designs, especially with the use of AI. So Yeah, sorry, what you were.
No, I just wanted to say I really appreciate your platform's flexibility with dealing with this issue, because it did create some ripples in various POD communities. So the fact that you acted swiftly to address this, and you just mentioned the processes that you put in place, I think we can rightfully say you've done all you can. So thank you for being so frank about this. I really appreciate it, and certainly our audience out there appreciates it as well. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. All right, well, let's move on. Chris, it's your turn at the microphone, sir. Come right up. Let's talk about Mystic POD. Now, it's all AI as far as you're concerned, and it's geared specifically towards POD sellers. So it sounds pretty ideal if you don't have a design background. You just pop in some text, and then some magic happens in the background, and boom, you've got a design to put on your products. But take me through the process of first time on the platform, like how do I understand what to do, and what resources are available for me to sort of play with and understand?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can walk us through a mini case study that some people might find interesting to kind of explain the product. And that brand that we had was called History Tees, which we fulfilled through Printify. So shout out you guys. And in History Tees, like with any print-on-demand brand, the key to a really good design doesn't really start at the design process. It doesn't start with like the concept or like the aesthetic and like what it's going to look like. It starts with a really good concept. Because in my experience, and History Tees was a direct example of this, is that it comes down to having a high quality concept, and then we use design tools, which could be Freelancer, Kittl, Mystic, Creative Fabrica. Like all of us are there to like kind of close that gap, like concept to the idea, and bring it to reality. And so in Mystic, what we've done to help, especially complete beginners like myself starting out who have no idea like what's going to sell, we have research tools where you can type in your niche, explain the kinds of designs you want to be that you're thinking about, and it'll brainstorm with you to help you come up with those concepts. And then prioritizing, like it takes not just one or a few designs in print on demand to be successful. We all know that it takes lots of design. So our whole product is geared around how do we help people not just find a good initial concept, but then quickly iterate on that and make not just 2 or 3, but dozens of designs based off of that. And then when like myself, nobody really wants to be futzing around with like prompt engineering or anything like that. So to simplify things as much as possible, anywhere in Mystic, when you go to create a design, you're able to just enter and just type like you think. So just plain English, and then it adapts it, and then does its best to understand what you're going for, and then it generates that kind of output. So like in History Tees, for example, we launched with 100 different designs, all completely random. Then one concept really took off, which was a really good concept. We could have designed it 10 different ways. But with that one concept, if that was a design that we had made it in Mystic, I would then be able to click remix on that design and then say, okay, this design did well. Be very conversational with our future AI overlords. You can talk however you want, but you can just say, this design did well. I want to make 10 more just like it. And then our top selling design was, it was a picture of Lincoln with like a joke. And if I hit remix and said that, it would then spit out like 10 other US presidents with a joke underneath them. Or I could say, okay, that was good, do different historical figures. And it would remake that completely. It would do its best to keep the same theme and aesthetic, but it would come up with completely new concepts, completely new graphics, all new jokes, like implied all from the AI, just from you saying how you think about it. So it's designed to be like your co-pilot for running your brand, all powered by AI, which we'll probably get into this in a little bit, like the future of AI. But for right now, it's just think of it as a really powerful extension of yourself. And that's what Mystic's there to do.
Okay, and I love how you started that conversation with like having a concept, because that kind of goes along with what we were saying earlier about identifying your core customer and their needs and things like that, so that you have a direction to go. Because you'd be surprised how many people out there I talk to that want to get into this business but don't have a clear direction. So I'm very, very glad that you highlighted that, Chris. But when it comes to AI designs, at the end of the day, it's all about the prompts. Now, what sort of resources are available out there for people who may or may not be well versed with coming up with good prompts, and they want to come up with good ones in order to get good design results?
Yeah, nobody likes hearing the word prompt or prompt engine. Nobody likes spending their time doing that, especially on a lot of tools where you write a prompt and then you sit there for 30 seconds just to find out that you're you get the output and it's not that good. You're like, all right, let me try again. 30 more seconds, not that good. 5 minutes before you have anything decent, and then you have to take it somewhere else to remove background, upscale, vectorize, all of that stuff. So Mystic, our goal is to take care of that entire process. And instead of you having to worry about like all the phrasing, you just type in plain English, however I think, and it understands you, and then it does its best to return a like an output specifically targeted for whatever product type you selected. So that's something I forgot to mention. You choose the product type, like you're making a t-shirt, you then enter whatever comes to your mind, whatever you picture, and then it knows you only want t-shirt quality designs being outputted, and then it understands from the prompt, and then it outputs those. And then if it gets close and you don't have, but it's not quite there, you don't have to worry about editing some long prompt. You can just click remix and say, change this about it. And it understands it and spits it back out. But I would say for anybody with trying to become more proficient with prompting, a really helpful exercise that you can do is just in ChatGPT. I've done this a lot. It's kind of fun if you're like a AI nerd like me. You just take an image and put it in. It's actually a really good hack for like research in general. If you look at adjacent niches to like what you're selling in, and if you take screenshots of like 10 different designs that you really like from other niches, and then put it into ChatGPT and say, these are designs that I like, and explain why you like it, and then ask it to come up with prompts adapting for whatever your niche is, it knows that it's based off of best-selling concepts and like the aesthetic, and then it'll give you really good example prompts. And just by studying that and then taking it to any AI tool, honestly, and seeing what the output looks like, and then you go back and forth with it. That's the fastest way that I've improved my own prompting skill.
Exactly, and I like the fact that you mentioned ChatGPT in there to help you out with your prompting. So wonderful stuff there. Now, I have one final question for you, and it's really like the elephant in the room when it comes to AI design. So a lot of times, and I had some recent experience with this last week when I was working on a project, is when you ask the AI designer to come up with an image, you run into like just images that just don't look quite right. Like at first, it looks okay, and then the longer you look at the design, you start noticing, oh, that's off, that's off, that's off. How does your tool combine or combat that in order to put out a crisp result that is pleasing to the eye?
Yeah. So first thing is that today is the worst that AI is ever going to be. So these kind of conversations, not just even with Mystic, it's going to change like by this time next year. So just for everybody watching to like know that any restrictions or limitations we see on any AI tool, that's all going to completely change like every 3 months just about. But the way that we're solving it right currently within Mystic is that we have the benefit of knowing we're not here to generate designs for literally anybody else besides print-on-demand sellers. So we know that when you're entering a prompt on Mystic, you're only looking for a t-shirt design or mug, a canvas, like you select the product. So we know what those outputs look like. We know what creates and scales as a really good design. And so then we build that into our prompting, into our like ideas generator, and then into the image outputs so that we're specifically catering it to your design style. So you choose like t-shirt and then a bunch of design styles pop out. You choose the one you want. And all those styles are not chosen at random. That's chosen by looking at what are the top 20 top performing print-on-demand design styles for t-shirts, for mugs, for canvases, so on.
Okay, yeah, and I like what you said there about the AI is going to be it's going to be no worse than it is today, and it's only going to get better. Very well put. I might put that on a T-shirt, and for that I'm going to need a text design, and that's one thing I think you guys do extremely well, because when I was working on that project last week, I was having a ton of trouble with the AI tool generating accurate text, but you guys seem to do that pretty well. So that's one thing I have to give you a kudos for. You guys are really good at text, and here we are talking about text designs as well. So it's just another opportunity for our merchants out there to take advantage of that with Mystic POD. So thank you very much, folks. We're a little bit over time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one last rapid fire question to all of you. And in 30 seconds, I want to hear your answer. So Drew, you're up first. Looking ahead, what do you see the future of design, whether it be that AI or otherwise for the POD merchant? What do you think that's going to look like? 30 seconds.
Yeah, I would say AI can still be integrated. I think it's very helpful. Obviously, it's not going away anywhere, and I like what Chris said about it. I think one thing that we're picking up on a lot, specifically for Kittl, and not necessarily just POD, but really all kinds of work that is design or creative, is collaboration. So we recently integrated or launched real-time collaboration. So now you can invite other people into your Kittl project and work on designs together. So maybe you have multiple people working with you. Maybe you need feedback on something. Maybe you're doing customizable products for POD and you need people to get eyes on it to make sure that it's right, leave comments, make corrections, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think I kind of see stuff more collaborative moving forward. I don't know if that's the exact best answer, but I think it is one that will be helpful for POD.
Wonderful. And I didn't have a timer going, but we'll call that 30 seconds. Linnea, the same question to you. What do you see the future of design? What do you think that's going to look like for POD merchants looking forward? 30 seconds to you.
Yeah, I think we're gonna move into a more integrated and empowered experience for creators. So like under one roof, you can find like everything you need to create. Like now there's a lot of tools and there's a lot of ways, which is like really innovative and ever evolving, but one place where you can find and learn and perfect and create. And that's really what we are like building at the future of Creative Fabrica. So not just providing the assets, but really like the whole creative ecosystem. And yeah, like I mentioned that a couple of times, we are really building like for the community. So we really invite everyone to like share your ideas and feedback on like what is it that you need in your creation, especially as we are in a very exciting phase of this AI technique building.
Very well put. The final question is for you, Chris. In 30 seconds, what is your take on the future of design for POD sellers?
Yeah, I think not even specific to print on demand, just in general, we're heading into an AI generated world, and print on demand is certainly no different. And so the impact that that's going to have on the consumers is that there's going to be more products than ever, more options than ever. And what's going to make the sellers truly stand out is their brand and their own unique voice, that message that they're able to get across to their end customer. And so I think the design tools that are going to be best suited to support those sellers in over the next 5, 10, 15 years is the ones that allow sellers to really capture their brand voice and allow that to come across in their designs and their products and everything else that they do.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I promised our audience a Q&A session. Thank you very much for all three of you for sharing your time with us and educating our audience on which tool is the right one for them. I think I don't envy their decision because it would be hard to choose between all of these. But again, each one of these, be it Kittl, Creative Fabrica, or Mystic POD, offers some unique options for you out there. So it's all about aligning what your goals are with the design tool that works best for you. And we'll have links in not only the chat, but also in the description so you can connect with the tool that is right for you. But let's go ahead and take a turn to our audience. Leo, give us the first question, please.
Yes, we've got some great questions today. The first one from Meredith Maines for Kittl. How many layers / artboard / objects is too much for a project? I keep getting black screens and slow loading speed.
That must have so many layers in it then. So I have several projects that run seamlessly with over 100 artboards in them. All have images, all have different vector elements to it. Now, I know that's not that doesn't help your problem. I would say once you get to 500 individual layers, they're depending on what they are. So let's say there's 500 high resolution, like 5,000 pixel images. Yeah, there's going to be some lag probably, and that's something that we're working on in the back end to try to help with high resolution heavy images, like moving them around and editability. So somewhere between 500 and 1,000. You can have more than that. It should give you a notice and say, hey, by the way, you've reached 500 layers. These are, vector, these are whatever, you may experience some lag or something like that. But also Wi-Fi connectivity, it will also improve your browsing experience. I think which browser you're using, Chrome is always going to be updated first, just because they update the most, like every 2 days or something. So Chrome is always going to be like the best user experience, I'd say. It does work on everything. But those are just some things that I might look at, is like, what are in the layers? Can you group any layers together? Can you parse out some things that's in one design to another design project, so that you don't have so much like weighing down one? But I mean, these are all, I'm basically giving excuses, because we're going to make it better. We just are in the process of making it a much more seamless, robust editability tool for like 1,000, 2,000 plus artboards. So we'll get there pretty soon.
500 layers? I don't know if I've ever created a design with more than like 12, so I don't even know what that would look like. But
Yeah,
I would love to see
I
what
would
that,
say,
yeah.
yeah, I think that's more so. So yeah, for POD, that sounds pretty insane. I'm not sure what's happening with a POD project that has 500 layers, but that's more for like, for example, if you're designing like a branded project or a brand board or like a brand presentation with like 80 slides, and then on each slide you have text, images, your logo, right? So you have this full branded slide pitch deck. That's probably where you're going to get to that 500 layer thing. Like Martin, you mentioned watching my presentation over on Printful's channel. That project I was live streaming from Kittl, and that had over 500 layers in it, because that presentation was like 55 slides. Right. So that's the only time I would see you have that many layers for one project. But yeah, if you have one design with 500 layers on it, I don't know what that would be pretty insane.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let us know what that design looks like. Do your best to try to describe that in the chat. I'd love to at least
sure.
have some sort of mental image of what that would look like. But let's go ahead and move on to the next question. Thank you very much, Drew.
Yes, so the next question is from George for Linnea regarding the Creative Fabrica font generator and commercial licenses. Do you have commercial licenses for those? And also, is it credit-based or tokens per iterations?
Yeah, great question. So it's indeed with both personal and commercial use license. So that was the question. But so the fonts you generate are yours to use commercially. And the font generator is free to use. You can generate and download 5 fonts. So every user account on Creative Fabrica gets 5,000 Creative Fabrica coins. So that's our internal tokens or reward system. And you can then use them to create 5 and generate and download. And if you don't want to keep one, so you don't download it, you can just discard it, and then you get it returned. So that's what's in the free access. And of course, if you have our subscription, the all access subscription, that's unlimited free generation.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you very much for that answer. Yeah, that font generator sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on to another question.
This is a question for all of our guests from Laura Ann. Can we easily distinguish which fonts and images are copyright free?
Ooh. All right. Let's start with Drew.
Which ones are copyright free? So images and asset wise in Kittl, they're all copyright free, right? We're integrated with Unsplash, so for images, all of them are going to be copyright free. For the elements in the illustrations panel, either we created it or we have what's called a lifetime like world license to use it from wherever it came from, which then gives you the ability to use it both personally, commercially, and with commission license. Fonts, also in Kittl, you can use those personally, commercially, commission license as well. We're integrated with Monotype as well, so we have the full license backing of Monotype, one of the biggest leading world type foundries ever. But like just a quick I think I understand the question, but just so everybody really understands, like you can't like trademark or copyright a font, right? Because everybody has the same. Like I can use it, Martin can use it, Chris can use. Like we can all use the same font, but I can't like copyright that font. So but I think what the question is geared is like, can I use this without there being an issue? The answer is yes. I just wouldn't put like a little TM or a copyright symbol next to it, because it's just not a thing you can do. So hopefully that answers the question.
Okay, wonderful. Linnea, how about you?
Yeah, so it is important that you do check everything. So what I mentioned in the my earlier question is we do have this guide that provides like really helpful steps on what you should think about when selling commercially, because yeah, there could be a saying or a type of design that you maybe create yourself from different assets that could be copyrighted. So there you can do simple checks, which it's we in that guide provide steps and helpful tools for. So that's a really great resource. But yeah, indeed, like creating unique designs is always important, and then doing that last check is always a good step if you are selling commercially.
Okay. And then Chris, maybe this question doesn't really apply in the way that it's worded to you since you are a completely AI generated tool, or maybe it does, you tell me. But is there any worry out there that your AI tool might accidentally come up with a trademark design and I use it unknowingly, anything like that?
Yeah, no, and everything that's on our site and that's generated by it, you have the commercial rights to be able to use. And also a common question that I'm sure a lot of sites get is about private versus public. Every generation that you make on Mystic is completely private, so it won't be shown to anybody. It's completely yours. And yeah, I would say this is kind of a side note outside of the conversation, but from working with a lot of print-on-demand sellers, I think a lot of times people prioritize like the secrecy. I did the same thing. Like when I was starting out, I was like, nobody can know my niche, nobody can know my store, nobody can know my design, and like that's all fine and good. But I would prioritize like just getting designs done, just launching them, getting out to the market, generating sales, and like worry about getting to something that's worth like protecting and like being private before you divert any amount of energy or focus to that. So like, yes, it's great to check, do your due diligence, make sure the tools, you can trust that it's commercially viable and private, but just once you figure that out, just like quickly put that to the side and just like get to launching as quickly as possible.
That's great advice, because you'd be surprised how many times I have conversations with merchants and they are very worried about their designs being stolen, but yet they haven't really come out with any designs yet. So let's cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's focus on putting out good designs. Very well put. Now, I think we have time for just two more questions. So Leah, pick out our two best ones, and I want to apologize in advance if we didn't get to your question.
Well, it's hard to choose. They're all the best. Okay, Mara Simone asks also about AI. Is it okay to use AI to create a design that uses photorealistic images of flowers using stock photos as a model?
Ooh, who wants to take this one? Because I know you all have some sort of AI design elements.
Yeah, I would say. Oh, sorry. You want to go first, Chris?
No, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. We have this thing called image like preset style, where basically like you can select an image, or maybe you drew something on your notepad and then you uploaded it to Kittl, and you can actually save that as a preset, which just tells our model, whichever one, Dolly or Flux, is basically saying like, I'd like you to use this as a style guide for the prompt that I'm about to generate. So let's say it is like a field of flowers. You like the landscape of that, you're gonna save that as an image style in our Kittl AI, and then you're going to give it a prompt and say like, I want this, but with all roses or something like that. So I don't see a problem with it. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else want to add to this before we move on to the next question? Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I totally agree with what I agree with that. It's totally fine. The thing that I would add on almost as a precursor to that, if we're talking about designing t-shirts, photorealistic stuff doesn't perform that well. I don't know if that was the product type in people's mind, but like just a word of caution there, like make sure that we're designing designs that are actually meant for that product type before we go down any rabbit holes.
Sure, and I've had people have a lot of success taking like a real photo and running it through various filters to sort of make it look unique and like a Monet painting or something like that. So there's all sorts of different ways to approach this. Okay. Wonderful. Let's go move on with our last question.
Last question from Toby Scott. Should I consider trademarking my logo idea?
Ooh, all right. Linnea, I'm going to give you a chance to answer this one first.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we mentioned here earlier, if it's something that you see has brought you value and that is truly unique for you, it could be good to do that, because then you know that it's yours trademarked. So I would say definitely like don't do it as a first step as you're just starting out if you are a beginner. Really test out what works well and what is your niche, and then you can think along with that process later, I would say.
Okay. Drew, Chris, anything to add on this?
Yeah, it's sort of a complicated one, I think, because again, if you're just going to use a font and then type in like POD and then trademark it, it's not going to work, I think, because I can also use the same font and type POD. So yeah, I guess in that regard, it does have to be quite unique. And I would say I also get this question a lot, and my first thought would go if you're really like invested in your brand or your business and building it, I would say probably what's first and foremost is important is is trademarking like just the name of the business, not so much like the logo or the graphic side, right? So like you as an LLC or whatever it is you're building, like the naming convention that is you is what is LLC or trademark or whatever, and then you can worry. I agree with worrying about it later. I don't think it's a good first step to go out and just try to start trademarking your logo. You may not like it 6 months from now. You may change your name. You may change a lot. So I definitely don't think it's a first step. It's unfortunately a little bit longer conversation than we probably have time for. But yeah, that's just one thing I would say is like maybe focus more on like the business and not so much the graphics first.
Okay, very well put.
I
Go ahead,
can
Chris.
quick comment on this. I've done this before, not in the best way. I did it way too early on one brand, and it was just irrelevant. It took a lot of my time and focus, and like I just never needed it. And then I did it on later brands, and I was glad I did it. But to what Drew and Linnea both said, like just set a dollar amount in your mind of like total gross sales you're going to surpass before you even consider that.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, absolutely no offense intended to anybody. Well, I could say it's myself, so say it at my at my past self. Like you don't have something worth trademarking until it's worth trademarking. So,
yeah.
And I say that with nothing but love because I want you to get to the thing that is worth trademarking, and the fastest path to getting there is by ignoring all the shiny things that pop up. Totally valid concern. It's good that you're like hedging the downside, but this is one that it's not financial advice, legal advice. Don't listen to me, but that's one that I would say you can safely ignore for now.
All right. Well, let me put a bow on this one and add a little something from my experience working with the biggest merchants here at Printify is that, yes, there is a time and place when it makes sense to go through the trouble of trademarking, and those like for most of the high volume merchants that I work with, they didn't bother with it. Okay. Now, when we're talking about the merchants at the very, very top, the 1% that are running multi-million-dollar businesses, yes, of course, it makes sense then. So let's work on getting your business to the point where it makes sense and call that a sign of your success. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up the Q&A portion of our show. Thank you, everyone who submitted a question. And again, my apologies if we didn't have enough time to get to your question. But join me for my live Q&A sessions, and let's keep this conversation going. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to wrap this show up here pretty darn quickly here, but not without giving away our last coupon code. So what I'm going to ask you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is pull out your Printify accounts once more. Wallet, Reward Center, coupons, and get ready to enter today's third and final coupon code where 3 of you who type it in fast enough will get $15 placed directly into your Printify account. Enter Da Vinci, spelled just like this. Can't make it too easy for you, but this is all about unlocking the inner artist within you, and I hope the conversations that we've had with our friends from Kittl, Creative Fabrica, and Mystic POD have sparked that creativity within you, and you can move on with one of these design tools and start really exercising that creative part of your brain, okay? But let's bring everything home, ladies and gentlemen, with our action plan, and this is how you put to work everything we've covered today to grow your profitability. And let me just start out by saying, don't let your lack of experience hold you back. These tools are designed with the beginner in mind, and at the end of the day, this is supposed to be the funnest part because you'd be surprised how many times I have conversations with merchants that are so intimidated by this process, and by the time they get into it, start having success, they almost universally say that this has become the part of the process that they look forward to most.
Next up, I would say this is probably one of the most critical things to keep in mind. Make sure that you know who you are selling to before you start designing. Know how your product and how your designs can address their wants and needs.
And shop around. Every one of these design tools has like a trial version or a free version that you can use with limited functionality. Try them out. See which one speaks to you, which one is the most intuitive, which you understand, which one is going to help you reach the goals that you want to reach. Okay, so just try them all out. See which one works for you.
Mm-hmm. And do not sleep on AI. This technology is advancing so rapidly, so quickly. Use it to create your designs, get inspiration, create product descriptions. It is just the start of AI. It's not going anywhere. You may as well take advantage.
And learn to enjoy the process. And because you're going to be getting better at this, and it's going to give you a major advantage over traditional retailers. You'll be able to, when something happens in your particular niche or in popular culture, you can go to your design tool, come up with a design very quickly, put that on a product, and have it up for sale ahead of your competition, and be able to capture sales on the upswing of that idea rather than when it loses steam on the downstream. Okay? So wonderful. Let's go ahead and wrap things up today with today's inspirational story. We're going to pop the link into the chat right now, and I wanted to highlight Kate Robb because Kate did it in a very unconventional way. She found her success without running ads at all. So I encourage you to click on the link and read her story and be inspired by it. And one thing I just wanted to highlight, other than the fact that she was able to do this without paid ads, is the fact that she incorporated a layer of personalization. Now, she didn't solely focus on fulfilling personalized products. She added it as a layer to capture sales she wouldn't otherwise normally be positioned to capture. Again, one of the unique advantages you have as a POD merchant over traditional retail, fulfilling personalized orders. Okay? Wow. What a show. We packed so much information in this. I don't know about you, Leah, but I think our audience is sufficiently inspired in terms of design.
We gave them so much extra time and info as well. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, this is a wonderful opportunity for me to invite you to join me for my live Q&A sessions on the Sellers Club that I do on Mondays and Wednesdays. Come, sit down with me. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. Use code LAUNCHPAD2025 to sign up today. Get yourself a free month. Get access to other mentorships and as well as courses and a community designed to support one another and grow each other's profitability. That's the Sellers Club. Join me Mondays and Wednesdays. Let's go ahead and pop the link to our post-show survey into the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, please click on the link, fill out our survey, and where 3 of you will be randomly selected to receive our main prize package of a awesome Printify, Clicks to Riches t-shirt, not unlike the one that our friend Leah is wearing, as well as $50 of Printify sales credit placed directly into your account, and I will reach out to you personally to award the prizes. So click on the link, fill out the survey. But let's bring things to a close. I want to say goodbye, but not without giving our guests the opportunity to say goodbye as well. So, Drew, do you have any final words for our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I just want to say thanks so much for letting me come on and speak with everybody here. This is so great. I love that we get to showcase all of these different platforms' strengths. And yeah, I would just say, I would back up something that was said earlier about audience and maybe also just mix that with passion. If you're just getting started and you're still kind of trying to figure out who you're going to target or what you want to do, I really want you to think about the thing that you are passionate about, the subject, the topic, the theme that you're passionate about that you can mix with POD. So if you're an avid Dungeons and Dragons player and you just know it inside and out, like that might be a good theme for you to get into POD. Or like with me, I'm a mixologist. Maybe I want to do like bourbon slogans and drinks and stuff like that because I know it really well. So think about what you're passionate about and mix it with that audience, and I think you're going to see yourself succeed a lot faster than maybe jumping on a trend. So that's what I would say.
All right. Well, Drew, you're making me thirsty. Thank you so much for joining us today. Linnea, how about you? Any last words for our audience?
Yeah, thank you again for inviting me, and it was great to speak with everyone here about all the cool, exciting things that are coming up. And now really just to add on to that, like this is the fun part, right? So all these tools that we offer really help you to create this fun and a nice experience. So really like go in with an open mind, be nice to yourself, and really experiment and find a joy of creativity because it's gonna be fun.
Very well put. Chris, how about you? Any closing words?
Yeah, this has been awesome, and kind of piggybacking off of what both of you guys just said. that when you're selling print-on-demand products, remember that people are not really buying a T-shirt or a mug. What they're actually buying is how it makes them feel when they put it on, and so that feeling, that message comes from you, and that comes from, to Drew's example, like your passion, and to Linnea's point that there's a million options in print on demand. There's going to be more options like next week. So like all the time, the important thing is that you take it slow. You're in this it's a marathon, not a sprint, and use what works best for you. You view it as, and conversations like this, view it as a buffet. Don't get overwhelmed, pick and choose, try things out. And then at the end of the day, it's your business. So make sure you're having fun with it and customize it to you and your lifestyle.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks, Chris. And thank you to all of our guests today for sharing their time with our audience. We really, really appreciate it. So do yourselves a favor out there. Check out these design tools and sign up for the one that is best for you, or just sign up for all three and take advantage of the unique benefits of each one. So Leah, anything you would like to say to close out the show?
Just don't be intimidated to try these new tools, experiment, have fun with it, try new products, new softwares, new niches, whatever. That's ultimately how you're gonna grow your business and learn.
Very well put. It's a great place to end the show. Thank you very much for joining us today. The Clicks to Riches show is now coming to an end. You are free to go on with the rest of your day. We'll be back in another 2 weeks with another great episode. Again, thank you for sharing your time with us. Goodbye, and we'll see you next time.